This is Doofy McButterscotch, and we have returned to Richard Gere, even though we didn't do any of his videos in the last one. Now we will. Runaway Bride stars Richard Gere, of course, and Julia Roberts as the Runaway Bride. Now, I found this to be a very annoying movie because being a guy, rejection comes, and I just hate it when somebody runs away from a relationship, when they don't give an explanation as to why they broke up or why they left. Absolutely can't fucking stand that. I mean, if you're gonna leave, say why you left. Don't be a fucking coward about it and run away. So in this movie, I really hated Julia Roberts because she just sucked. Because she ran away from a whole bunch of weddings, and that's just horrible. I always sympathize more for the guy than the girl. Being a guy, I can't really sympathize too much with the girls too much, so yeah. But this film was really annoying personally for me, so I didn't really like it that much. It kind of sucked. It's supposed to be romantic, but I can't sympathize with Richard Gere winning over a fucking bitch. I mean, that doesn't interest me at all. That just seems tragic to me. Chicago. This is a musical, and like most musicals done recently, they suck balls. Yeah. Wizard of Oz, awesome. And several others. There's a lot of other good musicals back in the day. Mary Poppins, that was awesome. But, I mean, musicals these days are like westerns these days. They're just not good anymore. They suck. I mean, back in the old days when you sang, there was so much pride, there was so much innocence, and there was so much standards. I mean, back in those days, women weren't just a bunch of skanks like they are now. And back in those days, guys actually had standards, and they weren't such assholes like they are now. And Chicago just seemed like an asshole's version of a musical. I mean, I didn't get any of the story. I mean, I watched it in several parts. I couldn't watch it all in one sitting. I watched it in the span of like a week. It took me that long to get through the goddamn thing. It was just fucking awful. I hated it. Some people will say, oh, it's really good. I mean, compared to all the other musicals, I mean, if you've seen that Rockstar musical with Tom Cruise, you'll know this one's just like it. It's fucking terrible. I mean, that one, I only watched that movie with Tom Cruise in a musical because it had Kevin Nash, and being a wrestling fan, I have to watch a movie if it's got a wrestler, even if it fucking sucks horribly. I still have to watch the goddamn thing. It's fucking terrible. But yeah, Chicago is a bad musical. There's a lot of other good musicals. There aren't any good musicals recent. The most recent good musicals are from the 70s. Anything in the 80s and beyond, don't even watch it. You're just destroying brain cells when you do that, because there's no pride in musicals anymore. They're terrible. Sommersby. This one's a little bit different. This one's got Richard Gere is actually an imposter in this one. He's some random dude who never has his name spoken on camera, and he is basically going through the fields of like some battlefield, and he picks up the dog tags of this dude named Sommersby and steals his life. And for some weird ass reason, he looks exactly like the dude, which is crazy. And he goes into his family, takes over his stuff, and eventually does a whole bunch of stuff. And what a coinkydink, Sommersby actually committed a crime, and Richard Gere can either say, hey, guess what, I'm an imposter, so yeah, that was Sommersby, not me, I'm some other guy. Or he could own up to his character and never reveal his true identity and get hung, which he did. He got hung in the end. Spoiler alert, but it's not really that terrific of a movie. If you're a dude like me, you're probably not going to want to watch Sommersby, Richard Gere isn't really for a lot of guys. Let's just say that before we go on. The Jackal. This is like a thriller, but it's got Richard Gere in it. So it's a thriller, but it's got Richard Gere. So if you are familiar with Richard Gere movies, you know exactly what that means. But for all you people out there that don't know what that means, I'll explain. Okay, The Jackal is a thriller, and it's got Bruce Willis as the Jackal. He's trying to kill a whole bunch of people, and you've got Richard Gere, who is a hopeless romantic, who is the protagonist, and as you can imagine, a romantic lead taking on a brute like Bruce Willis can only go one of two ways. And this is somewhere between awful and okay-ish. It depends on how much Richard Gere's acting performance distracts you in the movie. I mean, Bruce Willis tries to stand out. When he has his scenes, it's going to be like, hell yeah, kick ass. But as soon as it switches back to Richard Gere, you're going to be thinking, oh, okay. Kind of, yeah. It's awkward. It's a really awkward pairing. Richard Gere and Bruce Willis are not a good match. Let's just say that. An officer and a gentleman. I'm not really sure what's the difference between an officer and a gentleman. I think they're both Richard Gere. I could never really figure that one out. It's all about the Navy. Richard Gere's a Navy guy, and let's see, Deborah Winger is the love interest, and she's got a bitchy friend who kills one of Richard Gere's friends by breaking up with him, and there's just a whole bunch of other drama and military syou And the very end of the movie is an internet meme. So, I mean, if you've got a girlfriend, go ahead and watch it. If you're having a fight with her and you want to try to get her back on your side, get this movie. It might help, might not. Depends on how much shit you're in. Officer and a Gentleman. It's a movie that might help you if you're having a fight. First Night. This is the first ever Richard Gere movie I watched, because before I got this book, I didn't watch any of these fucking films. Not a single one. Never watched a Richard Gere movie until I got this book. First Night was actually one of the better ones out of these. He played Lancelot the first night, and it's also got James Bond in it, Sean Connery. And Richard Gere, of course, steals his babe, and eventually that pisses off Sean Connery, and then Richard Gere wins the battle, and Sean Connery's like, okay, well, you won the battle, I forgive you, all's good. First Night, yeah, it's okay. I'm running out of time. We will review the others next time. See ya.